Zip on up!
Now for a little rest after breath. Wait a sec. Isn't something important? Oh, today's our big day! We're supposed to leave the Fortress of Mirapede! Come on! We've...
Please, sign here. This document will be effective immediately upon signing, and...
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. Let's... Huh?
What's happening? I'm fine, thanks. But I wonder what the...
Let's go ask the Duke. Your Grace?
Ah, good to see you two.
Yeah, what was with that earthquake just now?
Ah, that. The tremor didn't originate from the seafloor. Over the years of serving as the warden here, I've developed a sense for distinguishing between what occurs on the surface and what occurs underwater. Besides, the seal that Monsieur Neuvillette...
So the fortress is okay?
If you recall our last incident, if there really were a problem, there would be crowds of inmates in a panic right...
Huh, you've got a point. Okay, seems we... by the way...
I believe today...
Wait, seriously?
Ah, yes.
Yep. It's you two. Are you leaving now? That's right! Today is our last day in prison. But now that Paimon says that, it doesn't feel like we were confined. Oh yeah, Paimon feels fond of... Then be sure to come back and visit. I'll miss...
If you've signed the release papers, then you're free to go. The guard...
You're not going to see us...
I knew you'd ask.
Well, you actually agreed. No worries, you must be busy.
Ah, so you do have a
After being down here for so long, I imagine you must feel like you're lacking companionship. Yeah, don't worry, we'll come back to see you. Paimon really likes the cafe.
I hope you won't be here as convicts the next time I see you.
We'll do our best to... Well, it seems our work in the Fortress of Mirapede is finished. We should probably go report to him now. Next up... You're going to see Monsieur Neuvillette?
I'm sure just your regards will do, no?
I believe...
You're right. I've heard the Palais has been terribly busy these days. Tell him that I hope he hasn't been overwhelmed by the recent...
The Palais Mermonia sure is buzzing with activity today.
Halt! Huh? Oh,
it's you two. Apologies.
Excuse me. Would you mind helping?
I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got my hands full here. Everyone's so busy. Seems a lot.
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have to wait for just a moment. In the meantime, please, have a seat. If...
That's all right. We just...
Very well, then.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to finish his work.
All right.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the Fortress of Meripede.
That's right, and we came here to see you. Do you have any idea what that might be?
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tivat. Therefore, we can only assume that
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how? And is he okay?
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he could have gotten there myself. Yes? What is it?
Ah, right! We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater, so we figured you might know something about it.
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. In fact, the source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking stopped, the water levels in the Poisson area rose at an alarm.
The water levels rose? Oh, no.
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time, and have already returned. If the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then the situation in...
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check on her!
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. We must immediately formulate disaster prevention plans for the... I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first. I'll meet you there to check on the situation once I finish things here.
There's no time to lose! Let's get going!
Please be careful.
Oh no! What happened here? Navia should be around here, right? We need to make sure We haven't seen a single soul all the way here.
What will I ever do now?
Look! There's someone on the roof!
Just stay put! We're coming up! Watch your balance!
All right. I'm not young anymore.
Oh, he looks pretty sad.
My leg! How could this have happened?
Just hang in there. Help is on the way. You can hold my hand if it makes...
Oh, it's Navia. She's over there. Hey, Navia, are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson, so we came.
Yes. As you can see, the water level...
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to...
He's wounded? How bad?
He fell, so it's probably a broken leg. He's pretty shaken up. When the water level rose, he desperately climbed up to the roof. Once the water receded and he saw the ground, he became terrified.
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1, and tell him to take the wounded resident to see a doctor.
Understood. I'll take over his search and rescue mission in the meantime.
All right. You'll... I'm sorry. Right. Allow me to A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, everyone thought that something might have exploded in the waterways. But before we knew it, the rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of primordial seawater. Some people, everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water, didn't have a chance to escape. Those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to higher ground. Many were injured, and the Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible. But there have been a lot of casualties. The water that flooded the area contained primordial seawater, so the lower levels of Poisson are still hazardous. To ensure no one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now is try our best to help evacuate the resident.
How awful. And all of this just came...
It was quite frightening indeed. I only wish that...
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being so willing to help in a moment of crisis like this.
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here!
Sorry. I need to go for now.
And out she goes. Seems it might be a while before she can take a break.
Okay. The wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary head count. Of course, we should remain ready for anything, and continue doing our best to rescue others. I'll be sure to... Traveler, Paimon?
Huh? Right now?
Thank you. Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the whole situation in Poisson,
Right. That's how things are now. The living are so...
Navia? Navia, what's wrong?
Sorry. I just... Malus and Silver, they won't ever...
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but still... They were helping evacuate the residents, and...
What should we do?
I've known them for so long. And I know I could at least hold a funeral for my father. And I know where he rests. But as for Malus and Silver, they're just...
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect that you'd enjoy a glass.
I can understand. Besides, the scenery here...
See, it's not just me. I always want to bring something when I visit Papa. Perhaps...
How could Master ever be upset? Yet the cemetery is the home of those who have passed, is it not?
Buying yourself a plot in advance, are you?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Cal.
Hey, stop.
I'm quite serious. That way, it'll save us both the trip to see...
That makes sense. In that case, could I...
After all, besides you, Demoiselle, the two of us could certainly be considered.
Personally, I believe...
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously. But I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip? I'd make the journey... I'd promised to let them rest in peace here. But here I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess like this.
Paimon doesn't know how to help you feel better. But
I'd always thought I could make my wishes come true. But now that I think about it, that never Malus and Silver have helped me so much. I'm so sorry.
you can spend as much time as you need here, Navia. We'll stay with you.
Thank you. By the way, you can have a look at this.
Obena, Khan, Burnett, Giverny. So, everyone else is safe.
It's okay. I know what you're thinking. And you're right. The overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right. Don't think that way, Navia. One person might be saved at the expense of... Malus and Silver were not the price for saving anyone.
You're right. What you said just now was...
Oh.
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
The knave?
Is everything going well on your side?
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated, and we're preparing to relocate. As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of.
Thank you very much.
Wait. Do you...
We just met recently.
Usually, I would call this a coincidental encounter. But that doesn't quite fit this time. Besides, it never even... Thanks to the Knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui, which allowed us to complete the rescue and evacuation work so quickly.
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was... That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on.
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you previously. We've never worked with a Fatui before, and it's extremely... My subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations. I hear that they've also prepared a large amount of emergency supplies.
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. It is simply the way of powerful organizations to act forcefully, whether they are doing good. As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy, and I intend to prevent. Lending your organization a hand was a natural first step in accomplishing that. As such, do not be troubled by this token of our sincerity. Perhaps one...
Without your help, there would have been many more casualties. I won't forget.
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver. I only would...
Don't say that. You and your subordinates did everything you could. As Paimon said, Malus and Silver didn't choose to sacrifice. I've never liked hearing people put it that way. It's like trying to relieve pain by saying some no...
You're right. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss Knott. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also spells disaster. It's no wonder that people always say that prophecies represent fate. Fortunately...
So, you're one who...
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have some things to take care of. By the way, traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
All right, then we'll just...
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when necessary. But there's no need, traveler. I'm sure you remember that I said you and I both know that there may be issues with the primordial sea. Previously, it was the fortress of Maripede's sluice gate, and this time, indeed. Allow me to share the latest intel I've received from the House of the Hearth's intelligence. During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins near Poisson. The ruins date back to judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy and the coming crisis. The situation is my people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration. Unexpectedly, this disaster struck.
So that's why
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine have all been dispatched to higher... Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they trust, which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you. I'm sure you already understand how earnest they consider their...
Oh! That somehow makes...
The intel I just shared about the ruins could fetch a high price. But since the children consider you family...
Got it! So all we gotta do is go to some ruins, right?
Excuse me, but may I tag...
You wish to join, Miss Navia?
But are you sure you're up to exploring some...
Well, I'm sad, yes. But I can't just go back. There's no point in being depressed while we still have a disaster on our hands. As my father's successor, I must live up to... Besides, I'm also doing this for myself.
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. What do you say? All right. The ruins are to the...
Okay, the three of us will handle it. Come on!
Over here!
Ow! That hurts my ears. So, are these the ruins the knave...
They seem to be pretty...
Let's go...
Just be careful.
Hold the line! Hey! The floor here isn't safe! Everyone help me! Rest and breathe it!
Shine down!
This place has also been contaminated by...
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontanian would most likely dissolve the moment they fell.
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous and it won't be... are you?
No, you're right. I can't do anything in this situation. I'll leave this to you. That complicates things.
In that case, do you want to wait for us?
The water levels here are unstable, and there's a chance the water will rise. I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit just up ahead.
All right. Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
Wait! There's something wrong with this bridge! Run for it!
Demoiselle.
Huh?
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till dark if I...
Maybe she just wants some time to herself, Malus.
Yes, it...
I must be tired.
That's quite possible. However, you were...
Oh, right. I knew... It must have slipped my mind when I dozed off. This is a familiar feeling, yet...
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, no. I was just trying to recall why we came out from...
Do you remember Mr. Giverny? He'd requested our help before with foreign merchants who had a debt dispute with him, and we'd...
We were headed to see how things were going with him at the...
Ah, right.
Oh? Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too.
How have you been?
I've been great. Thanks to your help, those bothersome merchants finally realized that I wasn't the one they were looking for. Why, I wasn't even the... They were knocking at my door day and night. Even my neighbor, Obina, was getting fed up with them.
Sometimes force is required to...
That's right. Oh, by the way, Burnett.
Oh, yes. Miss Navia, these are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. They're a very good variety. I don't know what we would have done without your help, so this is a little token of our appreciation.
Ah, did you cultivate them yourself? Thank you so much. I'll certainly...
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, Demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for...
Very well.
Wait. Something seems to be off. Excuse me, madam.
That's right.
No, it's nothing. This is the first time we've ever met, but your name seemed familiar. I've heard this name before. Sometime... And why are there so few people around here?
We must mind the time, Demoiselle. We still have important things to attend.
Huh? We do?
Well, now...
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking for you. Please, come to the Opera House. Your trial is about to begin.
My trial? Wait.
Yes, she's right, Demoiselle. It's just about time now, so...
Oh?
Look, it's Navia. She's here.
And her two attendants are with her. Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be all Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Julien, Essen. And as for the judge...
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry, Silver and I shall accompany you.
All right. But are you sure you can stay?
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed, but today...
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on, do they have any idea what they're doing?
Seriously.
Enough with the whispering!
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've done? As all here know, you are Master Callus's successor, the head of the Spina di Res. After you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late Master Callus had. Not only you, but your butler, your subordinates, nearly everyone in...
Wait a moment.
Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And that is why you stand accused. You have helped so many people get through. We are one big family, all of us who are from Poisson, inextricably linked. Therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty.
Huh? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed done a lot for my hometown, and I would...
Ah, well, if that's what you...
How wonderful!
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now.
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now.
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr. Joinville, you only know of Navia's goodness, but nothing of her utter...
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied down by anything. Indeed, even the death of Master
Her actions cannot serve as proof that she identifies herself as part of any group. Please do not mistake her actions.
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontanians here. This is the... Even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that her beautiful soul must return to everyone. Everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro. And in the end, everyone shall meld together. Thus, when a unanimous... Now, I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay.
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. Have you forgotten how much you all once longed?
Do you mean to defy our justice?
If your justice is flawed, then why should we acknowledge it?
As you said, we can also have our own justice. And that...
My head...
Demoiselle.
Silver, it hurts. My head is... I remember now. Everything that seemed off. Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
Don't be afraid, and don't admit guilt. We will protect...
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? We are the majority, and in the nation of trials, don't let them escape! We shall keep Navia here with us!
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying?
No more excuses!
He says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an
What's with these people? Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us!
Miss... Silence.
That's...
Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented are nonsense and cannot The court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this, I shall hear no objections from any unauthorized party.
Our thanks.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still time.
But...
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your only chance to leave this place.
Malus.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that...
Malus. Silver.
Quickly, you must...
Goodbye. Then what?
Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive.
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling. You were just about to be dissolved within, but I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of a second. Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to rescue you before your consciousness...
Wait! Did you say Oceanids? You mean like what happened with Vache?
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids were the
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me.
Please come with me.
Neverlet, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right.
Why do you look so stiff? Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type who feels awkward when there's nothing to talk about, right?
I merely thought that we should give Navia some...
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then? Don't you think it's even more...
I suppose so. Ah, Sigewinne. I hope all is well with her these days. Her work in the fortress of Meropide...
No way! Don't worry. She's doing fine down there. She's an amazing head nurse.
I see. Well, that is good. I have always worried that Sigewinne would...
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewinne made him do that. He hopes that you haven't been overwhelmed by all that's happened lately.
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately. And I also hope that everything is going well in the fortress of Meropide.
He still doesn't know what to talk about. So, Neverlet. This isn't going anywhere.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatui were helping the residents evacuate. They had even transported a large quantity. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the knave, and we had a chat. She informed me that she had asked you to investigate the ancient...
Yeah, we originally planned to meet up with you, but we thought you might still be busy with all those official documents. We didn't think exploring the ruins would take...
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
All right! Another one goes to party! Let's get going then!
Nada Kundala.
Oh no! Another unstable path! Watch your step!
had to...
Grow! Sharing my knowledge!
Inazuma shines eternal!
Dada Kundala.
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden space.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems like they were put here as
Perhaps we should just leave them be for now.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that...
The surrounding walls also show signs.
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that...
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose. But does...
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes. Indeed, the slate's contents correspond to it. Take the seconds.
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a whole bunch of other people behind her doing the same.
And is that Lady Farina in the 3rd image?
And is that a ring of people around her?
The 4th image. I know this one. This exactly
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on... More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it, most likely due to us missing the first slate.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Nervalette. Deciphering ancient stone slates...
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just looking at this. This says that it's the history of the future, right?
I really hope it doesn't mean that.
Still, Paimon feels like these images are
Huh. That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the 4th, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the 3rd, where the Hydro Archon herself falls into the water?
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the 3rd image. That means that the person in the 2nd image might be the previous...
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the record. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies, as if confessing a sin.
Did she herself commit that sin? Also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their contents, could this place be the origin?
But who would have created these slates and left these words?
It seems that any further clues will have to come from...
In that case, there's no time to lose. There's nothing else to be gained here, so let's head back.
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
Let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening with the Spina. You know how it is.
You still have energy for that, Navia? Paimon's
Just head back to the Fluvsandre and have a rest then. Thanks for keeping me company.
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work today. Rest well. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning to ask about the stones. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my office. I will share the results of our discussion with you.
Are you really gonna talk to her about this directly? Will that be a problem? Paimon's...
She has long been harboring secrets, and will not give them up easily. Which makes it all the more my duty to ensure that she understands.
Alright, we'll leave it in your hands then. You're probably the best person to talk to her.
I will be carefully considering my words tonight.
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fluvsandre is always open to you, as ever. So please don't... All right.
We're finally back!
Welcome back. We've got a special menu
Yay! And there's good food too! Navi, no, the boss. Paimon's already starting to forget what happened.
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think?
Huh?
It's you two. Oh.
Mona?
Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever...
Still, we didn't expect to see you here.
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out for a stroll when I... Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadter surname?
Yeah.
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was... well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me as her disciple that the first step to being a great astrologist, there was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it is now according to her wishes. To my surprise, however, Magistus is...
Nope.
Although it is used by us in place of surnames, it generally just means great.
Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name. Wait!
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if Astromancer Barbeloth Trismegistus.
Whoa, that's a long one.
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, the thrice as great Scholar of the Star.
Thrice as great?
I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to call herself Magistus, actually.
Talk about excessive.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't get it. You can look into it further should you need to study astrology more deeply.
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontanian, are you?
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dornman Port, and I traveled with the old hag for a while.
Oh, that's a good thing then. At least we know you...
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here in Fontaine, right? I know you're not a local, but there's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the Steambird invited me to take part in a panel and speak about the circulation of the prophecies and The invitation was sent quite early on. I don't think anyone expected Fontaine to be in this much trouble.
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us what you think as an astrologist. Your word would go a long way to...
What I can tell you is that I'm an astrologist, and that this prophecy concerns the fate of Fontaine. Even that of Ultiva. I'm afraid that this is not something that just anyone can do. If I could do it, you would know that on the flip side, the prophecy is so huge and powerful that it must surely come from a powerful visionary. Its contents involve the fate of the world.
A visionary? Sounds really powerful and all.
Of course. The old hag could do it, And I'd bet there are others amongst those Hexenzirkel colleagues of hers who could do something similar. Huh? Are you... All right, I'll help you.
Thanks, Mona!
Oh, well, this is something only I can do after...
That's the greatest of astrologists for you! Of all the people we know, you know the stars the best!
Indeed, indeed!
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about. If there's anything you need...
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now. If I receive any news, I'll be sure to come find you two again.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us suspicious looks. If Paimon hadn't spoken for you, it'd be you getting all the weird looks. The things Paimon does for you. That's more like it. Good morning. To be honest, Paimon's still feeling kind of... But it's time to get up, Traveler. We agreed to go...
You're here! Finally!
Is something wrong?
Monsieur Neurvalette and Lady Farina, they seem to have...
Like I said, I've already explained everything!
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses, but it is not my intention to offend you. But please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Fossil. Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent
You mean... they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster. And I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me everything you know. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you...
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know, but you found them in some ancient ruins?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to... The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know...
I don't! I've never seen...
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about...
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet...
So you've been... Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should... There's no point questioning or suspecting me.
You're the Eudex, but you're still my subordinate. You should just trust in me, your Archon, and do as I say. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss— Oh! The opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. Huh. She didn't—
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh! You noticed!
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing? Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice.
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that she won't just slip away at the first chance she gets?
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must prevent the prophecy from coming to pass. This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must take a chance on— But who will lend us their aid to do such a thing?
Well, that's Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in—
That's what family should do.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a—
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about—
me?
Then, how about you, good—
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become—
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. What?
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the— As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts to—
Oh? How intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to explain in detail.
Huh?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice.
I see. And what does my—
He is glad that you consider him your boss.
In that case, do any of you have experience
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette,
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before.
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group, though that was their name. They did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. A trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. Sometimes a lethal implement will also be necessary to deal with the So, if we were to build a trap together, right now—
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait, and our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm
afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like placing bait in the water and waiting for...
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person who would catch loads of fish.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. When placed in the I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're realistic enough.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any...
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any... But I do have one more question for you. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more...
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the containment device and the type of implement. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey.
Wait, why is that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides...
Huh. We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunt... But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god. A being who's...
Oh, so that...
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much has been happening. Paimon didn't think the meetings would go on for so long, but everyone seemed pretty fired up, huh? Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but everyone else just looked a little surprised. Well... It's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all. Paimon's never seen that couple.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you.
Who's that voice? But there's no one here.
Aw, have you forgotten?
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky in Sumeru.
The voice from the sky, You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that, Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple. The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled.
What? Then...
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed? So just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden? Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
What is she talking about?
I believe that you understand, right?
Some things are insignificant, but ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in— This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality. The voice. Alright, Kami! Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and that they should make their own rescue preparations. I agreed, so we had a brief chat.
Did she have
Why, yes! It was Charlotte. I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives—
That's right! Paimon's glad to—
yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try again tonight, but I would— Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon.
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that, but I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be— well, suffice it to say that the hags at least—
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scare—
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great—
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. She didn't say when or what that. Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now. Traveler,
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now.
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who— But even so, I still hope for and believe in miracle. Perhaps that's what N was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle—
You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. The moment I start talking about work-related stuff. I need to get going. It was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I believe that you'll help those— I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Paimon feels kinda moved by what Mona said. But also— Hey, Traveler! Paimon said— Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by. Huh? Our names are written in this news— Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy. My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Guess Charlotte still hasn't— Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report. A blonde adventurer with their white fairy, legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear. Journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines and photos do look cool, so Paimon— Should we go in and get some? Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it! Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go. I'm sure it'll be great.
1 slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all. Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nerval.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and cup.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe the waters will rise tomorrow.
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No, still, no. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call...
Oh, you know Siege?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the... She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. Yes, and you can only live... I've got something else to do, so...
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. I'm unsure this... It's more delicious than last time! And the flavor gets even... Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food. Oh! We're near the Steambird office! Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Ha! You've got some nerve!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to... It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with...
Really? Oh, you're the best!
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
When Mona mentioned you, we thought of coming to see you at work.
I see. So she mentioned me?
She said that you're a real...
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request...
Huh? So your article in the paper...
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things you've seen and experienced.
Yeah, are we even qualified enough?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare.
Oh, in that case...
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. I'll have to apply for lighting, Whew, so much to get done now. Talk to you later.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be...
Huh, that's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but if you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And from what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than work. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, But I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a true... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job. And I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. But anyway, that's my end.
That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat, that would be... No, Paimon should ask if you could... We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent... You mean, still traveling? Huh. Wait... Feels like he'll grow molded. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only...
So the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillat sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the fort... Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message. Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident...
A riot?
Well, that said, Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people...
So what happened after that is for...
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control, and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd got... The Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order, and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized...
So... You mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her. But that said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god, after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to good? Monsieur Nervillat sent me to tell you about this.
Don't worry. This is more than enough to go on. Thanks for...
Is that so?
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know, and as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic. When Nervillat was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, she couldn't hide her sadness and remorse. It would be hard for her to ignore being accused, but Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to... Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis. In that case, there's not a moment to lose. This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. That's Farina, right over there. She really is.
What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. Give up, Farina. I'm sorry, but what can I even do other than to repeat? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just
So it is you.
blonde traveler from another land.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, tear stains? Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my... They even dare to tout their Archon! I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marish Sauce Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too!
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fan! That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to... This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here! Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you!
What?
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground's shaking.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding and...
It can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go...
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson... It's true. I've been investigating the I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for... I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea, but all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled. Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free. Indeed, I've thought about giving up so many times. This fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prompt just now, it all became clear to me. As long as the final moment hasn't come, don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until... Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honest, don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims?
Come on!
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the and if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes now. Without further ado, we...
So, this is what it is. Yes, do not forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of...
May I interpret these words as your refusal? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through...
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on?
Wow, how utterly...
Lady Farina, what is that?
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of... I will admit that I've been running away. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people. You are not the only ones to be disappointed. But now, it is time for the I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world that this time, I will... applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine.
Woohoo!
Oh, now we're making...
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this serious.
All right, then. Who will be...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question, just how much work did you do to force...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a... Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something... So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean... the ones who scout...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest
That's right. That house was a magic box.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aranias. Was an Archon instead of... My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all—
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt with it—
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready, all so that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may come—
Yes, that is.
Well, Cloran, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist— As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
Oh?
Is that so? Then it's fine. It matters. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Oh, let Paimon see. Is it? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's— So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, all right?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom. This is the first time, Monsieur, a Fatui Harbinger. The fortress of Meripede was, according to Monsieur Neuvillette, I nearly lost my— The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the—
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for—
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine—
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but—
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they— See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, and if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live?
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resent, but in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after.
You sensed it too, huh, Nervalet?
Lady Farina.
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have... Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can... For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the... One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house. Or...
You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared child...
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information.
I never thought you'd use that.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority...
The real Hydro Archon. Well, it is true that I did not know why but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. And it has been You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I...
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives.
Isn't that...
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't... I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Please.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find...
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute... that doesn't sound right. Paimon doesn't think... that doesn't... that doesn't... aliens can dissolve in water.
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate—
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the—
super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, including those of some of my closest— So, Miss Farina, would you dare— If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to— I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us.
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as—
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really planning to—
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may—
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon!
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin,
Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few... That should be enough.
please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordials.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to... It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such... Think about it! How can you conclusively Also, if I was real... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your...
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone who's two-stepped against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the oratrice mécanique d'analyse. According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse.
Well, what's wrong? What's the oratrice's verdict?
No, the oratrice also
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro-Arc to be punished via the...
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice?
Furina's been sentenced to death by the oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she...
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Vacher wasn't sentenced to death by the oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also... But now, the oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of...
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any mission, Father is...
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. And would like...
Huh? So what do you see? What...
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro-Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro-Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Furina. So when you say Hydro-Archon, do you mean the real
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the... The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous... Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro-Archon and her people worshipping it together. But this must be the point when the Hydro-Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean the third slate shows the Hydro-Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people? Huh. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to... Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been taught. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen. That doesn't sound quite... That doesn't...
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can... And the first stone slate tells us that long ago,
The Hydro Archon used this. The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society. The fortress of... If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things...
That doesn't sound... That doesn't...
It's not as simple as falling. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness... The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea.
That doesn't...
Perhaps what is about to take place, the true sin of the Hydro Archon, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Select...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was... The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads... Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now, but then it feels like we're...
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
We're not real human.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher... Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All...
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celeste. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's
the Hydro Archon's true sin.
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sin... Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of... When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative. I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings. and wishing to have those experiences for themselves expressed to the Hydro Arc. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanid's blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only...
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct. A key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the individuals they have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead, you may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of... Therefore, the meaning of the 3rd slate, that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems...
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the 4th slate will also...
Traveler, I would like to point out another small... About the 4th slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the... However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be... As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already... This eruption was just a small warning of the things...
It was both dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why that whale does not belong to Teyvat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, from the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy?
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with this. Even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off.
We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle—
Indeed. That's not how a grand
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face.
You are not Furina.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was—
Focolo. Why did you...
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. The heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly...
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused. When that problem... She knew full well that the prophecy would sure end as one of the seven. She also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principle. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather... I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized I had to outwit the heavenly principles. Allow the prophecy to be fulfilled. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as... Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro-Arch... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose...
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into...
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as the me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to... Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra... In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Furina to be an actress, to play the part under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she... Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclep.
But Furina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to...
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, it's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and... Oh, who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self. All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor, the eyes of countless Fontaine. Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Now you shall perish!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards! Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Let's move out.
Torrent, bring refuge!
Uphill Illusion shattered!
Hey! Yeah! Allow me! I see stars.
Furina. Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you? Be not nervous. Be not afraid. Wait a moment. You're... mirror me? How... Mirror you, huh? Mirror me. The prophecy. What prophecy? Wait. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping. Oh, very good. What's going on? I can't seem to remember. Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine's. But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian, just... Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give... I will tell you how to save everyone, but... Oh, so there's still hope after all. As for the suffering, well, I bet if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other. Is it not? You truly... I suppose this would also be the just... Huh? Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine play as... That's right. You must begin a never-end... If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god... Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know... Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity. I'm still not sure I understand. So, how long am I going to... To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on this... But I promise you, all... A trial, huh? How... The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. But this is my first time, what should I say, to most appear like a god. To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I should first try to... Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Verena de Fontaine. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you as the god Focalor, the god of justice. I shall do all within my power to lead you in. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to convey—
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a—
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the...
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as you calm down, Verena. Think assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. That... Oh! Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of... Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be...
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were in some...
Her personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, it must carry, may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. All that is needed is for you, so long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese. So long as I...
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House in person? Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking...
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all...
That's true, I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do you...
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance. Oh, I'm afraid. All right. Deoteria, is it? How
You remembered me, and you knew he is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who forced me to see.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future, please do not hesitate to come and tell.
Oh, you're such a gentle and wise god. Thank you.
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, I did already all manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass.
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine Research Institute is also trying—
Really? Have they found—
I'm afraid that they haven't found—
Oh, is that so? Well, no wonder. This issue The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment to breathe, but it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer— Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep— All right.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases.
There'll be no need for that.
Lady Farina, I've waited so—
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This—
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should— I don't think I let anything slip today. I just don't— I feel utterly exhausted.
Lady Farina, it's like I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Deoteria.
And what a fine family yours is indeed.
Surely you exaggerate.
What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Uh-huh. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god who's—
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your—
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined that have I reached my limit. No, I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. But with that not, I've conducted so many investigations across the all I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act. It is the only—
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone. You're...
Share that's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my...
But even if your bird, just share it with...
A witness. Yes, I've heard that you and if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're... He's right. I could confirm, but if things don't play out as expected, the people of... No, Farina, you shouldn't... But what if... Farina, you've worked so hard for so... Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you... If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness...
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once...
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive, she did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine, it seems that trusting humanity...
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed... I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine. Yeah.
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber. It now seems that that person was you. Hidden...
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact... Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take... I mean... Did you think I would... My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium, but really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever... The vast majority has been, had to be, accumulated.
It was all a part of your plan, then? Both the
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only... But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia, and...
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to...
But...
Oh, what? Getting the authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro...
All you've done throughout the years... It's just so you can sacrifice...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked. Hydro Dragon, Hydro Dragon. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And the heavenly principles, I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians as humans and their right to exist in the— In other words, existence was Egeria's justice. And to me, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall— At this point, we, whether Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land—
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see at last. I now understand the true purpose. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding. You are a devious one for things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
I, Iudex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been—
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling.
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved...
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that... I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to... We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the... Come with me, traveler. The I've already done my best to separate the power of the primordial sea from the way. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together. Sorrow turning into hostility.
Inazuma shines eternal! Thrust rebuild! Shine down! Over!
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility, and chance will present itself.
Nice maneuver!
Why is there a hole-looking thingy over there? It looks really scary. Grow. Hold the line. Let's move out. Covenant of the Deep.
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
There is no escape! Now you shall perish!
Committed to memory.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but it was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll...
That power. Who are you?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be child. It's just that he gave us the impression that she was, less talkative.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring Nar, so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative, it eats too much, and I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think...
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire so what sort of person is your master? Well, child's master's master. Wait, is that right?
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sertologi.
I am unfamiliar with that.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then?
The Foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfulnir then? Or Gold Rhindaughter?
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhindaughter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhindaughter. They are both pursuing...
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. I believe that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already met.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Furina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue!
Hurry! Hey, lend a hand!
water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright?
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong. The soil renewed. The Spina di Rosula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is Skyship Winglet, Booner Bane of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to... Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Juria and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambirds the value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further report. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship.
Paimon's curious too!
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me.
Are you sure? Hasn't he turned...
Oh, this time will be different. Come on, let's head to Poisson for...
Oh, it's you.
Hey, we're just having a...
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snežević. He represented the Knave. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely. We've lost a lot of people, but...
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here. We just happen to share the same interests as the speaker.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it...
That would be fine. Thanks.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour before the workers are able to...
Huh? You're here?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision-makers. And, well...
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel, about what it was like facing down a god. There's lots of exciting material.
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that, Miss Charlotte.
I see you're the same as always. Couldn't you do me a favor?
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let him off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather.
How did it go? Was it a good shot, did Paimon?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news. And also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Who knows?
Wow, you really do.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of...
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess, too. I asked Sigewinne, who told...
That's a very complete...
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me, I told him that it was best not to speak too soon. There's no guarantee that Ridesley will...
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. In which case, I'll be making a move...
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear anything interesting. I'll treat you to afternoon tea in exchange.
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgic...
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke! Did you come all the way to the entrance to greet...
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom...
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke. Thank you for consenting to my visit to the fortress.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview.
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Hey, no need to be so nervous. Miss Charlotte.
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear...
Sir, please don't say things...
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it.
No, I just... This is my first time being interviewed, and I'm very...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed chatting with you. The boat that brought about a miracle, the ark that saved the people. Still, if I might ask...
Huh. Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself another...
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory.
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an interview with you to...
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to...
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well, then, 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to...
Ah, Sigewinne.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't you, sure. Come on, Miss Sigewinne. Over this way. Let's find a brighter spot.
Huh? Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been at the front?
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone some changes, but this place is still more or less the same.
Other than that flying ship, it got a tad too much attention.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward...
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have your day in the...
I'll just leave the spotlight. I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his...
He sure did win them over.
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for abetting his escape.
Oh, actually, what about you?
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duties. As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, We'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it a day.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go.
There'll be a next time?
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about the underwater factory. All right, last stop, the docks. Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks distributing these strange pockets the whole—
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them.
Trick a friend.
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by...
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your...
You sure
are working hard to help Fremine so...
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave underwater as—
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins with the first step. He'll become a part of our show.
Lynette, could you come over? Miss Charlotte's—
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized I had some— Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very grateful for your contribution.
That's all right. We were more than happy.
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. After Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Nervillet opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a
diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things going for it. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine.
Well, that's true, but this is a gnosis we're talking about.
I would agree, but I've also heard that it—
So there's some reason—
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes, speaking of which,
isn't he real busy and stuff? But back to the topic. The gnosis was given to the knave, right?
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui. To think we'd be allied with them this—
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Well, well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the Traveler by chance. Please do not—
Are you going to take the gnosis?
That is our duty as Harbinger. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that switching my masks is something I've always done. Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. What good is honesty if you can't rely on it forever?
As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision?
And that's a wrap for me. Huh?
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to take a photo of you.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our...
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant. I shall continue my walk while...
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, traveler, Paimon.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets when we first met, too. I guess this must be life. We will all... All right, then. We'll be
Well, guess we sent Charlotte, huh? Shall we go... Allow me!
Step on up! Surprise!
The entrance to the fortress! Ooh, he really is there! So, you really are here, Neuvillette! Paimon didn't think you were going to have free time to...
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met... In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting.
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you for keeping it... Alright, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually...
It is strange how words can...
Whoa. So that's what happened? Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you. Transformed, but Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontanians from dissolving.
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitution. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the...
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone. Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Focalor finally managed to fulfill the...
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring Narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, as for the judgment passed by the oratrice during the trial, whether it was due to that liability by association or Focalors deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off. I cannot say.
Guess Focalors had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally... hang on a second. But back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray?
Yeah! Lynette said the fountain is where all...
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of ritual. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon sorta gets it now.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Farina is a...
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalors' words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed... Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
But she's still gotta put...
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, but now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalors the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead...
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro...
After Focalors passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to... This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective...
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty... As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as it... Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no...
That's true. That power was derived from the people's... Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay...
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the knave as a...
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power. As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine. If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the knave and as a...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
A nation of dragons?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them. Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying... There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the knave. The Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the end.
The Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. Paimon's still got a question. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis... We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just... In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
what's going on. You hurry over soon as... Whoa!
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here. I can finally catch the scent of your power. What it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Ah, of course. You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
Huh. According to your parlance, I believe it may be called...
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her... But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems in our attempts. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disaster. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds...
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my... personal thoughts.
This third descender you refer to...
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't... If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you.
Next time? You believe we will meet...
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't...
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to...
The remains of the So that's what the no-seas actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces.
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the...
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at... I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect... That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element-compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third... I wonder, does your body also possess...
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision! That doesn't... No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels... Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all? That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck! Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him. Or go look for his...
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
Alright. Whatever the case, it seems...
Yes. All of Focalor's effort...
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god. And she suffered through all those years as a...
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's... I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the... Life flows like water. And what, ultimately, is the diff...